the Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. Today we have the company of Mr. Michael Kelly. And increasingly, we get a chance to share. So we're going to invite you to be a part of the discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome and thanks for joining us. And to Mr. Kelly, it's a pleasure to meet you in person. Good afternoon, man. How are you today, sir?
Good afternoon, Sterling. And I'm doing fine, I hope. And I'm trying my best to keep everything together. It's very hard to do it, but I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, sometimes it seems that it's even more difficult than we think. And as we look at life, we might be comforted. The scripture says, they'll give you more than you can bear. But sometimes you wonder, are you as strong as you think that you are? But when we test the metal, we'll find. I want to invite you to share with us as you have reached out to me. And through that, maybe we can appreciate some of the dynamics. But let's see where it takes us, one. Where are we here today?
Yes, let me first say good afternoon to all the listeners. And I also say that this is not really my comfort zone, but situation really pushed me in this direction, and I want to share with the public what is really happening to me, because in this world, things like this, once it's happened to one person, there's a possibility that it can happen to any or everybody. I'm here this afternoon because of a matter. I got a lawyer to sell a house from me in Jamaica, and the lawyer sold the house from 2018, July of 2018, collected the money, and to date I have not received a cent, despite of all my effort, just without success.
Okay, I don't want to disrespect you or anybody or disparage you, but I just want to emphasize, this is something that's happened in Jamaica. Has any connection to any other jurisdiction? I mean, Cayman specifically.
Yes, it's connected to Cayman based on the fact that there was a court order issued in Cayman here for the house to be sold. So I had a divorce, and the court ordered that this house sell, and the money split between the two parties.
Okay.
So that's how Cayman really get involved in this situation.
But the property is where?
It's in Jamaica.
And the lawyer that you speak of is where?
It's in Jamaica.
But you are?
Living in Cayman.
How long have you been here?
I am in Cayman since 91.
And that's not 1891, okay? That's 1991. You've been a fixture within the community for a long time. So, as you shared, the courts here intervened in the matter. The court made, as you said, the order, property in another jurisdiction, in this case Jamaica, is to be sold. This is how it's to be, sold under these conditions. This is who gets what and whichever. The lawyer instructed in Jamaica handles that part.
Right.
Was the house actually sold in Jamaica?
Yes, it was sold in Jamaica.
Okay, I'm not going to belabor it, but maybe sometimes the best way to say to get information is ask questions and to get it from the start as close as possible.
Correct.
Okay, so the house was sold. The new owners are
occupying the house right now.
They paid for it. They're, as far as they're concerned, legally owning it.
Right.
But where's the money?
all I get from the lawyer is that she get hacked, and she wired the money to United States.
Okay.
Say that she received email from me giving her instruction to wire the money, which is a pile of rubbish.
Okay, that is your contention, right?
Yes, because I said that because we communicate via email, and we have never ever communicated through any email how this money would be paid and where should it be paid.
Okay, all right. So you said 2018.
2018.
This is August 2023.
5 years.
And it was sold. Now, despite the court order in Cayman, through the Cayman courts as to how the property to be sold and whichever.
Right.
With respect, what can the Cayman jurisdiction, what can your sharing this publicly in Cayman benefit you? How can it?
Well, I'm sharing it on the background that I'm letting people aware of what is happening really in Jamaica, because if somebody had instructed me before as to what is happening as it relates to this, I would take a different direction.
Okay. And with great respect, people who are either incompetent, who are malicious, who are criminal minded, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not trying to be insensitive to your situation, but that happens sadly everywhere in the world, right? So making them know how does to your mind, how does that help?
Yes, because if I had known of this before, instead of me giving her a bank to lodge the money in, I give her a bank account number to lodge that money in, I would be present there to collect that money myself.
Yeah, but this is a lawyer. Lawyers are trustworthy.
They're supposed to be.
They're officers of the court.
Yes, I have to laugh because for the last 5 years I had some experience that they blow my brain.
Okay, and I appreciate your endeavor to find out a way in an avenue, but also, as you shared, the absolute respect to speak to the issue as much as possible, so that the principles, not necessarily the people and the personalities, the principles are ventilated. But in this case, this lawyer which you speak, is this lawyer also a lawyer that practices in Cayman?
No.
Okay, so then again, please only allow me to better understand it.
Yes,
so this is a currently practicing lawyer before the Jamaican Law Association, their bar, their courts. This is a lawyer of record in Jamaica.
Yes, this is
still
a lawyer
to this day.
Record. Yeah, in Jamaica.
Okay, the little bit I understand about that, lawyers and doctors and similar professions have a body that they have to be accountable to, in addition to the courts.
Right.
And if they do something and people say, "Well, I'm not quite sure that's right," people can make a complaint or register a concern or whatever the process is to that body. So if it's lawyers, they go to the Law Association or the courts. Have you done that?
Yes, I've gone to the General Legal Council, which is the Bar Association in Jamaica. I have reported the matter there on the 7th of August 2018, the same day I reported to the fraud squad.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica.
Okay.
And we go through a proceeding that lasts over 2 years.
Okay.
And I would say drag through. I don't think we have the time to really go in details.
No, fair enough. We know it can be drawn out. Yeah.
Yes, because it happened to be a body club.
Okay, that's your contention.
Yes,
right?
yes, a body club right
Okay.
there. But however, seeing as the evidence is so overwhelming, they instruct her to repay me.
Okay.
And she appealed that ruling.
Which should be her right, if I guess. Okay, she appeals that.
Yeah, she appeals that.
And then what?
And they set it for 1 year. The appeal set for a year before that will call up for a hearing.
Okay, so 2018 August, you make the report. It drags on for 2 years. So let's do the math. 18, 19, 20, so 2 year plus.
Yes.
And then the appeal is to happen when? Or has it happened?
No, not yet. It's slated to happen in November of this year.
Okay, so with that in mind, and even though this is in another jurisdiction, I'm mindful and reminded that there is this principle, maybe I say it incorrectly, sub judice, where something's before the court, so be careful how you talk about it so that it doesn't prejudice your position, compromise the outcome.
Right.
I gather with that in mind, you're now sharing, that was a bit that you had not shared with me prior. With that in mind.
Yeah, let me correct something here.
Yes, sir.
Well, I said before the court. This matter is not before the court. Because the appeal that she made is not against me.
Right.
That appeal is against the Bar Association. Right. And it's the Bar Association versus she.
Yeah. In a court in
the
Jamaica.
Court there. Yeah, but the police, the fraud squad, which I have reported to from then, has not done an investigation in that matter as yet.
And have they said to you why?
That no excuse. Have get even the Cayman Island police here during COVID, because the COVID time we couldn't get to go travel.
Right.
And I get the Cayman Island police here to link with them, and they do an assessment of my computer hard drive here and send back that report to Jamaica.
To substantiate your allegation that you have.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
And to date, that matter has not even brought up.
But things, unfortunately, I'll just generalize it. Bureaucracy with demands on time, things can be frustratingly slow. Could this be one of those things in your mind?
No.
Okay.
No.
As we continue discussion, and you've been mindful as the outset now to be able to speak to it without it being any more inflammatory than it can be.
Right.
How then, speaking to have you spoken to others, media, anywhere else in the world?
Yes, I spoke on YouTube. Like I said, I tried TVJ in Jamaica. They refused to bring it. I tried CVM. They refused to bring it. I tried Nationwide. They all refused to bring it because government control these.
So these are all the media outlets in Jamaica, for those of us who are not familiar.
And Gleaner, they are all Jamaican media.
Right.
And the only medias that bring this thing is like YouTubers.
Right. So do you, in your mind, have an understanding as to why? Because the Gleaner is not just respected in Jamaica or in the Caribbean. That is a highly respectable and respected institution, almost, right? Have you any indication as to why at this time that they're delaying or refusing, as you say?
No, you see all these papers here before.
You almost remind me of politicians with all these papers. You sure I'm going to Parliament?
Yeah, a lot of these are emails.
Yes, sir.
Some of them are from even the very Gleaner. There's one reporter at Gleaner. I don't know if you're aware of this situation with Usain Bolt and others.
With the money from the alleged account.
Exactly.
Yes,
when that happened, I spoke with one of the reporters at Gleaner, and that reporter said, Mr. Kelly, this is a perfect time to bring your case. I'm going to talk to my producer now. They are denying it.
Editors and the like,
Yes. And from the time he leave and go talk to that editor, he lock his phone off from me. He don't take any more call.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly pause and then come back and then maybe have you share a little bit more as best as we can.
Yes.
All right. Please stay tuned.
Do you own a business? Want a free, sleek new Samsung tablet? Then make sure you head on to Cannon Place Industrial Park, Georgetown on Friday, August 11th between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Yes, you heard right. Digicel Business is giving away a free Samsung tablet to all businesses that sign up only on Friday, August 11th at Cannon Place for their fast, reliable FiberX business broadband, now available in Georgetown and surrounding areas. It's time to give your business the competitive edge and make the switch. Call 345-623-2499 to find out more. Digicel Business. Fast, reliable FiberX broadband for your business.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The public is invited to attend a town hall meeting at the Georgetown Public Library on the 15th of August at 6:30 p.m. for a discussion regarding the proposed Sexual Harassment Bill 2023. The meeting will be streamed live from the government's YouTube and Facebook page. Questions may be submitted on Facebook. The Sexual Harassment Bill protects everyone living, visiting, or working in the Cayman Islands. Everyone should understand their rights and feel empowered to utilize the protection afforded to them. Join the conversation. Visit gov.ky/sexual harassment.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us and with the company of Mr. Michael Kelly. And sometimes when people share a story, I shouldn't use that word because that has unfortunately something negative connotation. But they relay their experiences. We almost go, that's a made-for-TV movie kind of thing, right? And I'm sorry that, as you shared, sometimes something happens to someone. It's probably that it happened before, could happen, and that's part of what you shared. So just to recap, you are in a situation where property in Jamaica was sold. The attorney allegedly received the funds but didn't transmit it to you as per the agreement, and that attorney eventually was before the Jamaican Bar Association equivalent, and that entity having the authority as bar associations do for lawyers make a ruling, a decision. The attorney didn't agree with that and now appealed it to the Jamaican courts. This is all transpiring in Jamaica. But you've been here since 1991 and affected by it because financially you're out of a couple of dollars, right?
I'm out of pocket.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you shared that you spoke to the very recognizable and well-respected media, including the Gleaner in Jamaica.
Correct.
Okay. Other than the media, and you also shared that you spoke to our local police to be able to provide and substantiate some of your things that then was shared with the counterparts in Jamaica.
Right.
Have you had any other avenues that you've explored?
Yes, I've explored every avenue in Jamaica as it relates to the fraud squad. I've got to CTOC, I've got MOCA.
Okay, so I may know that, Ms. Susan may know that, but I may not. So what's CTOC?
CTOC is the criminal investigation area, arms of the constable force, which is known as the cybercrime.
Right, okay.
Cybercrime area.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And the fraud squad definitely should deal with fraud. Yes, yes. I go to MOCA. It's another arm as well who deal with bigger crimes and so on. Yeah, I've gone to the Commissioner of Police Office in Jamaica.
Okay, okay.
A matter of fact, I've gone to the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Okay.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica was in Cayman in 2019.
Yeah. Had a good festival, yeah.
Yes, and I was there, and then I give him a letter.
Yes, sir.
As it relates to this matter.
Okay.
And I do follow-up. I send email follow-ups, and I haven't got any response at all.
I don't want to disrespect that process, because I would imagine, like Cayman, like many places, we speak to our parliamentarians. So let's ignore that for 1 second.
Okay.
But speaking to the authorities, so the policing and the fraud squad, you've spoken to them, and you know, okay.
And all the last email, the only response I get from these police is when I call or I email them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the police in
Jamaica.
Okay. Okay. And I don't mean to constant reference that. I just don't want people to be confused, because sometimes, you know, even me might be saying something and go, but where you from? Oh, yeah, from West Bay. So let's remember that.
Yes. All this relate to the police in Jamaica. The Jamaica Constabulary
Thank
Force.
you, Susan.
Right?
Okay, yes, sir.
And like I said, the only time I hear anything from them is when I contact them. And each time I contact them, they just make up a story and give me.
Okay. I don't want to disparage them, nor disparage the Cayman police, but many people in their home jurisdictions would say whenever they contact government or a police, it look like take forever to get a response, or they look like they don't. So the same thing you're saying, many of us, no matter where we're from, in the civil democracies, we say, well, that's to be expected. I mean, they're busy. You're not going to get a response right now.
No.
And they are. You know, there's 100,000 people came on in 6 million in Jamaica. So
I'm not saying that they are not busy.
Yes, sir.
But at least do something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me feel like you are doing something.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, the conversation is a one way. Yeah. Only when I contact them, I get anything out of them.
And I say this. From what you shared, being reminded, Mr. Raymond Albergo, it was QC then, I was KC. I think one of the most brilliant minds, legal minds ever. Mr. Raymond Albergo shared it one time. He said in a public space of a joke. You know, the judge, you know, was commenting, and he said, "But Your Honor, with due respect, my client is only concerned about the matter that affects my client. So all that you got going on. So this is where you are. This is your issue. You want to know what's happening to your issue.
Exactly.
Right? He who feels it knows it.
Exactly.
So in addition to the Jamaican policing apparatus and all the other media, have you explored other options?
Oh yes.
Okay.
I've tried the FBI.
That's the U.S.
The U.S.
Yeah, they seem to be global, but again, that's
U.S.
They're
global.
But the U.S.
Yeah. No, they're global.
So why? Explain to me. I can understand talking to the police here because you're living in Cayman and they can provide to their counterparts in Jamaica. Yes. I can understand speaking to the Jamaican policing apparatus and the Jamaican courts. But why the US FBI?
Yeah, why the US FBI first? The money was sent to US.
Okay.
Yeah, so I involved the US FBI. When I went to the FBI in the US, the first question they asked me, what am I doing there? It should be the lawyer that should be there.
Okay.
Because the lawyer claimed that she get hacked, so she should be the one coming to them seeking help.
Okay.
And in terms of who is the victim,
okay,
was there. And then they instruct me that the FBI is based also in Jamaica.
They have from what is reported, an amazing presence and resource and the likes across the globe. All right.
Yes.
So you spoke to them.
Yes.
Then what? I mean.
Yeah, the case is on record. Now, first, what happened? The U.S. only investigate $1 million and upward independently. Based on the fact that mine is...
It's $1 million US.
Yes, $1 million US.
Yes, sir.
Independently.
Okay.
Under that, they pool it together.
Okay.
So my case is in a pool.
Okay.
So I don't know when.
Okay. Before I say it directly, perhaps let me ask and see if I can list it. Yeah. So by speaking to them, because the sum of money is less than $1 million US, they can pool it.
Yes.
Is it your contention that potentially there could be other similar, can I use the word they use, fraud victims? Are you trying, by being here, what is your intent? What is it that you're trying to attempt to achieve?
Well, one of the things I would like to achieve, I know there are more victims, especially in Jamaica. When I went to the Bar Association, I was stunned.
Okay.
the amount of people there with cases against lawyer.
The same lawyer?
Not the same lawyer.
Or just
different
lawyer?
lawyers, different lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a practice going on in that country. So my appeal is if we can pool together all the victims, then we can probably bring this $1 million.
Yeah.
And the FBI would do an investigation on that.
Okay. And this is where I appreciate your greatest endeavor to be respectable to the process, be so respectful in how you present it, and making that appeal, because there are many people who are probably here as you contend, who maybe have moved to the places, who may have given up and said, you know what, it's been 10 years now, it's been 5 weeks now, I've just had enough of it. You know what, it's only $1, but to you it's the principle.
Yes.
So if in making your appeal to anyone who's listening who may know someone, you want them to contact you, what do you want them to do? So
they contact me. They can contact me.
What's the best way, sir?
The best way, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on WhatsApp. I can give my number 917-4510, 1345-917-4510.
Okay.
Yeah, WhatsApp.
917-4510.
Or 325-1039.
Okay. And they can call, reach out to you, find out more.
Yes.
It may or may not be the same lawyer. It may or may not be other lawyers. It may or may not be something similar. Yeah. But you're hoping that commonalities to see how you can move forward.
Correctly.
Okay.
Correctly.
In this context, with the matter being in Jamaica and the way you presented it, have you hired a lawyer over there to help you recover? So you've done all of that?
Yes, I've done all of that.
Well, you've shared it publicly what you seem to have done everything. I don't have an advice as to what more you can do.
Sister lady, I think honestly, I've gone everywhere.
I've gone everywhere.
Everywhere.
I appreciate you still trying to smile, because it isn't as you shared, it's not just the amount of money, it's not just the time, it's a principle, and perhaps it has been something that affects
other people.
Yes. All right. And you've had, police here in Jamaica and in the U.S., but sometimes there's only so much you can do in absence of having more to work with. So you're hoping for people to come forward and provide something.
Yes, unity is strength.
Yes, sir. That is. Thank you for sharing that. That stands with the electorate, as it with the family, as it with the church body, as it with the school PTA. There's strength in unity and safety.
Right.
All right. We're going to take the next break, and when we come back, maybe you can remind us of a few things, just as we wrap up our discussion, how you share with us. I'm very grateful, sir, that you've been so, and if he hasn't, someone let me know, so respectful in trying to speak just to the issue and make the appeal without it being any more inflammatory and all the other things. And publicly, it's unfortunate sometimes that we fall victim to things and of people that we would not expect. We've seen physicians who allegedly have done things to their patients globally in different jurisdictions. People of trust, from the teacher to the parent to the coach. Sadly, these things happen in societies, and it's because people sit down and take it. So when we come back, let's just continue as we conclude the discussion. All right, stay tuned.
Hey, is your phone slow, overheating, and dropping important calls? Don't fret. This summer, it's time to flip out with Digicel. Introducing the all-new Samsung Flip 4 with its sleek design and cutting-edge features. You'll flip into the summer in style and confidence. This summer, you can grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4, all just for $145. Flip into the summer with Digicel. Visit a Digicel store near you and grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4 and the amazing 7-day Prime Ultra plan today.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway we're introducing the new boneless hot sub.
Say what?
The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
He have founded it upon the seas. The importance of laying strong foundations runs deep in our Cayman Islands. And sometimes those foundations are laid up high in the sky. As Cayman Airways celebrates their 55th birthday, we remember the foundation they had laid for us. The bridges built, connecting Caymanians to the world. Memories made, dreams fulfilled.
On behalf of the Cayman Airways family, thank you, Cayman Islands, for 55 years of support for your national flag carrier. And here's to many more.
A CUC energy saving tip. In the summer months, your AC can account for nearly 70% of your energy bill. Ensure that your AC is serviced every 3 months to ensure that it runs as efficiently as possible. With CUC, you've got the power.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Mr. Michael Kelly for sharing and for what it's worth. Whenever someone feels aggrieved or have suffered an injustice, I think as a civil society, a people of humanity and decency, should feel a sense of understanding, perhaps extend compassion. Some may even have empathy. They may have experienced that themselves. As you shared your story, even though this is something that has transpired in Jamaica and is ongoing there, you feel there may be others here or connected there, and you would like them to come forward to touch base with you just in case, there is, and you can find that strength in unity as you shared.
Yes.
So, repeat for us again once more how people can reach you. Maybe they need to see if their thing fits into your thing.
Yeah, people can reach me on Facebook, Michael Anthony Kelly on Facebook. Or WhatsApp, my WhatsApp number is 917-4510 or 325-1039.
Both are WhatsApp?
Both WhatsApp.
325-1039 or 917-4510.
Correct.
Okay. And one of your contentions for that is the strength and safety and security in numbers.
Yes.
But you also reference, if I may repeat it just to make sure I didn't misunderstand, that even though in this instance has affected you, allegedly, the funds were sent across to the U.S., but by it being less than $1 million, the FBI wouldn't give it individual priority; it would be pooled.
Correct.
So you're hoping that, somebody, let's say 10 people each have 100,000, that's $1 million.
Exactly.
They might be able
to.
But at the very least, that could be presented to the Jamaican authorities to say there's more than just one person.
Correct.
Okay.
So once we get the numbers to reach the million, they would deal with it as a group. Yeah, so individual group.
Right.
So then their case would get settled.
Right. And that seems to make sense, the efficiencies, the pooling of resources and the like. And, again, use a simple example. If there are 10 people each, 100,000, that's, 10 little bits and pieces.
Correct.
But then if they all pool together, there's one group. The same 10, but now it's
one group.
Given,
Yeah.
Okay. I would pray that this behavior isn't something that continues or exists in our society, but sadly we know the reality. It happens sadly almost everywhere, all too often, involving people that we would least expect. So hopefully there's a level of redress that you can achieve that will satisfy that. What else would you want to share with our listeners? Anything in particular?
Yes, I want to share with those maybe probably victims as well that the battle is hard, but if we continue to fight and endure, sometimes it seems like we're getting nowhere, but perseverance is the key.
With anything, if you press on, and you're prayerful, you might find that level of reprieve that you need. In the attorney or the lawyer, I'm not sure the words that you've used in Jamaica, you're in communication frequently to watch what is transpiring on your behalf?
No. That attorney, from the day she told me she was hacked and she wired that money, she cut off communication totally with me.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing from her.
Okay. So would it then be beneficial, and if so, have you explored maybe, despite the apparent costs, if any, contacting another attorney in Jamaica to help you to navigate the process, to sort of be your eyes and ears and legal advice and the like?
Sad to say, Dwayne, sad to say. I've contacted several attorneys in Jamaica.
Okay.
And nobody want to touch this case. Nobody want to touch it.
Yeah, I think many people can relate. That's probably something that happens again in other jurisdictions as well for different reasons.
Different reasons. Various reasons people don't want to touch it.
Right. Well, who knows? I mean,
so that's one of the reasons I have to be on here, seeking the public's help.
I think Burke reminds us, evil prevails when good men do nothing.
Exactly.
And sometimes it just needs one to stand that may encourage someone else to have the courage. And like anything else, you get that momentum when people see that there are others who are not willing to let an injustice go. And then we have the faith in our judiciary that it may be slow at times, but justice is blind, they say.
True.
So I'm prayerful that it'll work out and see how it goes. You've been, 5 years you've shared?
5 years.
And your last, if I might just ask us for clarity, your last contact with the US FBI, how long ago was that?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so for people listening, even though this is a matter that has been transparent for 5 years, this is not a matter that you have not been vigilant.
I've never rest.
Incessant. So,
I've never rest.
So, and their response, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Their response 2 weeks ago, I would want to say it in here right now.
No. I should have said that because of rhetorical. No, we would imagine what that would be like, because they may be sympathetic, but they may have a process and they may look. I'm not going to speak for
sympathetic.
Yeah, I won't speak for that. And again, just for repetition, perhaps also for urgency, your appeal is for people who may be living here, who may have family, whether in Jamaica or were there and now elsewhere, who may have given up their cause because they felt it was...
Yeah, friend, family, whoever they be. Someone knows someone that has been victimized in Jamaica, have been scammed from their money by these law firms or lawyers, just contact me.
Okay, and they can have a conversation, and then from there you can decide how best to proceed.
Yes, because right now, as far as it is right now, I think we'll get good result with an outside entity right now.
Yeah. And there is that strength, as you said, in numbers and unity, that safety. And maybe you think of parents, for instance, that new parent who may feel that, there's only that new parent who's experienced the thing with that newborn, only to talk to the grandmother or to the great-grandmother or to the co-worker, and you realize, we've all had this same thing with a newborn. It's frightening, you feel alarmed, you feel overwhelmed, you're not quite sure what to do. But hey, let me give you a hand, let me teach you.
True.
It's comforting, it's reassuring, it builds you in confidence. So likewise, similar.
Correct.
They come together. Okay.
And by me doing this, I gain a lot of experience. Yeah.
You get a lot of grief.
I get a lot of grief and a lot of experience, because some certain things that I did not know, I know now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Experience is a great teacher.
Of course.
Sometimes we learn the hard way. Huh?
Yeah.
Adversity, they say, builds character. Yeah. Well, Mr. Michael Kelly, I believe there will be very few who would not sympathize with you, who would probably themselves feel in a way that, wow, this thing is happening, in the 21st century. Hopefully there are those who are familiar with what's transpiring and can offer up some assistance as you're making the appeal, so that people who have been, aggrieved and suffered an injustice can have their day in court and have their matter amicably resolved, right?
Correct.
I trust and pray that, justice is served and, those of us who created injustice suffer consequence, and those of us who have been aggrieved find our justice. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
And I appreciate this moment. And the day justice serve, I will come right back here and let people know exactly what happened.
Thank you. And if you're so inclined, if you wish, once again, to share your contact information, please do so. The numbers, as you wish.
Yes, 917-4510, 325-1039. All WhatsApp.
And these are for people who have suffered a level of fraud in Jamaica, who may feel that, maybe it's time to pool the resources, share their stories, and see how collectively you can come together to get justice.
Correct.
That's your appeal.
That's the appeal.
Well, sir, I thank you for presenting it the way you have. I sincerely empathize with you and trust that there is some way that someone listening might be able to say, hey, you know what, justice is blind and should be for those who seek it. What did they say? He who comes to equity must come with clean hands, right?
Yes.
So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we're going to pause, and when we return, we're going to have some open line. We're going to do some other things, and we invite you to be a part of a discussion. Stay tuned.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
Radio Cayman, the voice,
The heart,
the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association informs all members that there will be a general meeting on Tuesday, August 15th at 7:30 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall on Victory Avenue in Prospect. The silent auction will be held with lots of items up for bid on that night. In international news, Joe Biden has issued a major disaster declaration after 36 are dead from wildfires on the Hawaiian island of Maui. The U.S. president's actions make federal funds available to aid in recovery efforts on the island. Authorities say it's too early to know the extent of the damage, but at least 270 buildings have been destroyed. The wildfires began on Tuesday and spread quickly, fueled by strong winds generated by Hurricane Dora. Thousands of tourists and residents have been evacuated relocated to makeshift shelters. Scientists near Chicago say they may be getting closer to discovering the existence of a new force of nature. They have found more evidence that subatomic particles called muons are not behaving in the way predicted by the current theory of subatomic physics. Scientists believe that an unknown force could be acting on the muons. More data will be needed to confirm these results, but if they are verified, it could mark the beginning of a revolution in physics. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's Experienced Women's Health and Maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
I am Teresa Pitcairn, the chairperson of the Cayman Islands Beautification Task Force. Derelict vehicles are not only unsightly, they also lower the quality of life in our neighborhoods and pose serious public health and safety risk. To report a derelict vehicle, please call the Department of Environmental Health on 949-6696.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott was a quiet-natured child who liked going on the bluff with his grandfather Oscar Brown, swimming every Saturday evening and playing cricket down where Miss Alamay's house sits now. He was very studious at Creek Elementary School and did very well under the tutelage of his favorite teacher, Miss Isley Connolly MBE. Following the tragic death of his father at sea, at age 14 he left school to work with Arnold Foster to support his family. In 1953, he joined his first ship, the Beretta, a local cargo vessel, signing on as deck boy, working his way up to bosun. From 1953 until 2006, some 52 years, Captain Scott made his living working off the seas.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. It's Thursday according to our calendar, and it's going to be open line. We certainly want you to be a part of a discussion and be as pensive and productive. Sometimes it's always an endeavor to be positive, but you can't. And for those times when you can't, well, how can what you do bring something that's helpful? To Mr. Michael Kelly, who just shared. Believe he did so in a responsible, respectable way, and his appeal is that if you or someone who may have fallen in that category, that you feel you didn't get the level of service, or you may have been defrauded, or whatever your allegation is, reach out to him. Yes, it's a matter that is in Jamaica, but as he shared, he lives here. This is where his home is at. It doesn't matter if he goes there every day. He doesn't. I don't think that'd be practical. Goes every weekend. It doesn't matter. The fact is, this is what has happened to someone who feels that an injustice. Perhaps you may not only sympathize. You may know someone who has a similar issue, and as he shared his approach to the US FBI, they've shared, well, we may feel for you, but this is what we got to pay attention to. Now, $1 million to some people is no different than if it was $1 billion. But for others, $1 million is, what is that, 1 cent? Doesn't matter to them. That's candy money, they will say. But in his case, if his sum is less than that, it may not get the priority. So through his appeal, maybe there are others who have suffered something similar, and hopefully, expectantly, they'll be able to have it looked at with a greater attention. I share that to not just make the explanation on his behalf, but to invite people. Where are we in our lives today? Are we accepting of injustices and other issues, or are we prepared to look at things so that there's a sense and sensibility, there's an appreciation for when things happen that shouldn't happen, that people would feel a greater sense of action and timely action to correct egregious behaviors, and when people can and should be held accountable, that they are. So let's speak to many issues. It is our Thoughtful Thursday. I'll be honest with you, the days and the weeks are going so fast that the months come and go, and before you know it, a decade would have passed, and you wonder, where did that go to? Well, it seems to be much faster as we, age. Well, maybe not. Remember when Christmas took forever to come? It was a year after year. Now it seems to be one credit card billing cycle to the next. Christmas already? Well, I just finished paying off. Well, we can laugh and joke, but perhaps it's no different. The phone lines are open. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp call us or send a message, 925-32-621, and be a part of our conversation for today. 949-8037, 949-6990. Or Flow toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp call, message, voice note, whatever the WhatsApp allows you to do, 925-32-621. If you look at some of the things that are happening around the world, I wonder to what extent we consider the impact on us individually and on our country. How many of us would question whether this thing happening there would affect us here? We're so remote, far removed, we're so small and perhaps for some insignificant. But has the world's events caused us to rethink that mindset, if in fact it was? So take for instance, if a particular food supplier somewhere isn't getting the quantity for whatever reason, maybe it's something happening in the agriculture sector, maybe the yield for whatever reason wasn't as good as anticipated, maybe there's a greater pull on that supply because of increased demand in another region, so that cheese or rice or corn or steel or cement or what have you is now being redirected. Does that make those of us in a smaller market, perhaps in a further afield location, unable to get as much as we want or the thing that we wanted? Now, you might say, it doesn't matter. But then, how important is it? Is it important? Let's take food and the notion of food security. Is that something that we're doing sufficiently enough? And not just talking about it, but actively doing something that can help us. Not only because of global famine or war, but maybe simply we can't get it because someone else wants more of it. You remember a number of years ago, it was alleged that the demand of the Chinese economy for steel and aggregate and concrete and all those things were so heavy as they were on this building spree, as it were, that they were almost sucking the world's resources, and they were willing to pay a premium sometimes, allegedly, for steel and other products, and the suppliers were only too happy to direct their resources there because they were getting a better return. There are some here who said there was a delay in getting some of those products because of the demand over in China. That may have been, several decades ago. Is it any different now? And if it's different, how is it different? Is the response of us as consumers one that makes us more prone to panic buy and to hoard? Is it one that makes us so inclined to aggression that we want to get what we want, even though we may not have any use for it, but we're fearful that we mightn't get it when we do? Can't afford to buy it. It may not be something we need. If we do, it's not a priority. It may not last because it's more perishable, but we nonetheless buy it. Is that our mindset? Is it something that the government can respond to? Now, if it's food and it's something that we have to grow, well, some trees and some fruits and vegetables may grow faster than others, but I'm sure there's a growing process and a growing period. Now, what if we could manufacture that in some sort of production facility? We go on a computer, we draw it up, and we hit print, and out comes the piece of meat or the ear of corn. Now, maybe it's a formulation in some sort of, little gadget, perhaps similar to a CNC machine, if you're familiar with it, where you send in instructions to the computer to carve from that piece of wood or foam or other material this particular thing. Now, we hear about 3D printing of all sorts of things. Can we 3D print, a piece of filet mignon? Can we 3D print a nice ear of corn? Is it the same thing? Has it been so sufficiently and scientifically engineered that the taste, the texture is even better than, the best, most organic thing that we can grow and produce? Is it as healthy or is it healthier? Is it that it may displace? Now, these are the things that some of us would think of as science fiction. A wonderfully gifted creative mind writing something about the future. But what if that future is now? And let's go further afield and engage the mind. What if that thing isn't healthy? What if that thing has, not just immediate, but perhaps long-term consequences? Do we consider it? Now, not saying that just because of the things we read that should evoke thoughts, but what about the impact on it? That's just from the perspective of food. Well, let's talk about other things though. Here, 949-8037, 949-6990, or toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. One of our listeners had shared that they're having an issue with Susan of trying to call but not getting through. To that listener, the phones are not ringing on this end. So if you're dialing us, we certainly appreciate your persistence. It's 949-8037. That's 949-8037. It's toll free at 1-800-534-8255. You can dial us on 949-6990. Or you can WhatsApp call us, 925-3261. We can share with you that if you're trying to call, as this listener says, trying to call you but not able to get through. Yes, we are on air, and if you're calling us, nothing is happening on our end to indicate that the phone call is coming in. Not on the 800 number, not on any of the other numbers. So if you want to try this one, 949-6990, and you can also try WhatsApp, 925-3261. Sometimes, it just happens that that's how it is, and it's unfortunate. We can't explain it sometimes. Certainly now we won't justify that, there are issues and accept it as such, simply because we have become so almost dependent on the use of technology, that it almost dictates our lives. I believe many of us would probably leave our car keys and leave our wallets in expectation that we'll find some way to pay for what we want, but we won't leave our cell phones. There was a time when, as a gentleman, you didn't leave your house without your belt. You would go back home and get it, or your handkerchief, or the like. And nowadays, you probably leave all those things, like I said, including your car keys in your wallet, but not your cell phone. Even if you have credit or not, you just got it in your hand. It's become that thing that is fixed to us in many cases. Technology, like money, can serve us well, but it should not be our masters, and has it become. So if you are calling and nothing is happening other than on your end, either not going through or it's ringing, with the greatest of respect and sincerity, we do not see it registering on our end. So please, try WhatsApping us, message us on the WhatsApp, or do a voice note, or try calling it, or call us on 949-6990. I'm going to pause quickly. When we come back, we invite you to be part of a discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Stop kicking that old washer or dryer and stressing out. Brand Source Home Gallery is having an August laundry sale. Save up to 15% on all brands. That's right, save up to 15% on GE, Samsung, LG, Beko, Frigidaire, Electrolux, and even heavy-duty commercial washers and dryers, both gas and electric. Shop Brand Source Home Gallery in August and find the island's largest selection of washers and dryers and save during the August laundry sale. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
He had founded it upon the seas. The importance of laying strong foundations runs deep in our Cayman Islands. And sometimes those foundations are laid up high in the sky. As Cayman Airways celebrates their 55th birthday, we remember the foundation they had laid for us. The bridges built, connecting Caymanians to the world. Memories made, dreams fulfilled.
On behalf of the Cayman Airways family, thank you, Cayman Islands, for 55 years of support for your national flag carrier. And here's to many more.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hey, is your phone slow, overheating, and dropping important calls? Don't fret. This summer, it's time to flip out with Digicel. Introducing the all-new Samsung Flip 4 with its sleek design and cutting-edge features. You'll flip into the summer in style and confidence. This summer, you can grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4, all just for $145. Flip into the summer with Digicel. Visit a Digicel store near you and grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4 and the amazing 7-day Prime Ultra plan today.
I'm Kenneth Bryan, Minister for Tourism and Ports, and I need your help to keep our beautiful islands clean. Littering is unsightly and negatively impacts our tourism industry, which is crucial to our economy. Keeping our islands clean is everyone's responsibility, so let's all work together to keep the Cayman Islands beautiful for generations to come.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Well, it's that time again. Catch the contestants of Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2023 on the road on Saturday, August 12th for their annual motorcade showcase. 9 a.m., Turtle Center. 10 a.m., 7 Mile Beach. 11 a.m., Georgetown Hero Square. 12 p.m., Bodden Town. And 1 p.m., Pedro Castle, where you can join them for lunch at Thatch and Barrel before they're on the road again. Come out to support your favorite contestant at one of those stops and join them on their journey to the crown to be your national queen. Look out for Miss Universe Cayman Islands on Saturday, August 12th. See you there.
Talk today.
but I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And remember, Mr. Dorian, it is open line here on Talk Today as we take your calls to talk about all things. Again, for those who are having some issues dialing our numbers, can't tell you any more than we'll do our very best. For those who are persistent and you get through, thank you. So let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. To you and your listeners, of course.
And to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, let's begin with a little bit of scripture. You remember the time? You remember the time when Jesus Christ, how he called his disciples? He went to the seaside and they were fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Well, are you catching any fish?" And then the disciples said, "Well, Master, we've been casting all night and we can't catch anything."
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Well, but try one more time." And then you know the story. Then they put it one more time. And they caught a whole bunch of fish with the miracle of God.
Yes, amen.
That's my long-winded way of telling you that I kept calling and kept calling and.
Oh man!
And then finally, when you said, "Well, look, there's a little bit of a problem," I said, "Well, let me try one more time," and Miss Susan put me on.
Thanks, man. Persistence pays off, right? Cast your net on the other side, huh?
Well, always grateful. Always grateful. I'm so sad that I regret that I missed the much of what you discussed with your guest.
Uh-huh.
I only came in towards the end, and all I caught was that he sold a house in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
The money was paid to the lawyer, and the lawyer took off with it.
That's his allegation that he sold property. The lawyer acting on his behalf alleged that when the money was wire transferred to an account in the U.S., that there was a hack, and his allegation was, well, no, you stole it. It was reported to what is, I guess, the Jamaican Bar Association. I guess there's a different name for it.
Yeah.
He has shared, and he has documentation to support it. He has shared that the Bar Association said, no, this is what happened. We order you to repay the money. That lawyer then appealed that decision to the courts in Jamaica, and now that's where it's at. The lawyer in Jamaica in the courts contesting the decision of the Jamaica Bar Association. And then he further contends that since the money was wire transferred to a bank in the U.S., he contacted the U.S. FBI to say this is what's happened. They have shared, from what he's relayed, okay, this happened, but because we have a sum that is $1 million or more US dollars, before we look at it individually, if it's less than that, it'll go into a pool and they'll look at it collectively. Coming on the show to say, listen, if, okay, I live here, it hasn't happened here, but maybe there are people here who know that it's happened to them or to people they know in Jamaica, reach out to him and see what they can do collectively.
Wow, and this person, your guest, lives in Cayman?
Say again, sir? Sorry.
Does he live in Cayman, the person you had on?
He lives in Cayman. He said he's been here since 1991, all right? But the property is in Jamaica. It's sold and occupied by the people, I guess maybe it's the same owners about it. This was in 2018. Allegedly, the funds were passed over to that lawyer, and he was expecting to receive the proceeds. How much that was and in what proportion, he didn't share that. But the lawyer contended that, well, the money was then wire transferred to a bank in the U.S. He said, no, I didn't tell you to do that, this, that, next thing. What do they say? Horse dead and cow fat.
Well, so thanks for summarizing it for me, and I'm sorry to have to put you through explaining it to me.
No, sir. That's
see,
okay.
I wish that I had caught on to it because I would have wanted to engage him a little bit. First of all, I empathize with with his position. I mean, lawyers are very, very difficult to deal with if they are dishonest, because sometimes, I mean, there have been people who, like, the money is misused, and then when somebody complains, they claim, well, I took all of it as a fee, and then you now start fighting the person to say, well, is this a reasonable fee? And then in some jurisdictions, not everything is regulated, like in terms of how much you're supposed to pay for particular services. Like in conveyancing matters, in some jurisdictions, they say, okay, the lawyer gets 10% and then plus disbursement. So I empathize with the way he feels. But I just thought I might want to relate this to, and which you've been trying to do as well, to relate it to Cayman. You see, in Cayman, one thing that I find very interesting is that in my 20-year association with Cayman, I don't recall that there was any time that I read in the paper that a lawyer had been disbarred. Maybe I missed it, but not once. Then also, I know of cases where one prominent person had something like, I believe the sum was somewhere around $100,000 stolen by a lawyer. And this matter was reported to the Chief Justice. Nothing happened to that lawyer. That lawyer, in fact, I think has got status now and is continuing with his life. There was also another case where I believe a well-known lawyer in Cayman, who I understand falsified some company documents for a U.S. client. It came out in the paper, was even reported in the United States, and this was like about 10, 15 years ago. That person is still practicing in Cayman. Why am I giving this story? It is because in Cayman there is not sufficient mechanism for members of the public to complain in case that happens. From some of these calls that I make on radio, some people have gotten in touch with me and said, well, where do I go? Where do I go that such and such a thing happened to me? To whom do I complain? The public don't even know to whom to complain.
Okay.
Now, according to the current law in Cayman, if you've got a problem with a lawyer, you complain to the Chief Justice. That's according to the Legal Practitioners Act, which is still in force. The new Legal Services Law has got a different arrangement for complaints, but that hasn't come into force, like in terms of the operative provisions.
Okay.
The problem in Cayman, I actually made a Freedom of Information request a few weeks ago. I said, can you tell me how many lawyers have been complained against in the last 10 years? Basically, they didn't even want to give me that information. They said, no, that has to do with the performance of the judicial function. We can't give you that. I appealed it to the ombudsman. The ombudsman told them, no, you have to give him this information. It turned out that there were 46 complaints in the last 10 years. 46 complaints against different lawyers. And since my request had been that they should tell me also what the result was. Okay? I didn't ask for names. They gave me the results. A lot of those were not properly dealt with. They were inconclusive. There's even one of them which has been unresolved for 4 years. Why am I saying this? I'm just saying this that there's need for greater sensitization of the public regarding that matter. Under the new Legal Services Law, there will be a disciplinary committee and a more defined procedure about how to deal with that. But before I talk about that, even, you see, when the matter went to the Chief Justice for him to deal with, there were no rules which, for example, governed how to deal with it. There are normally rules which should say that when the complaint is made, it will be filled out on this form, and when it is filled out, the person must be given a chance to respond within so many days, so that when you make a complaint, you are also protected. If they fail to comply with the rules, you can say, hey, you did not comply with Rule 7. The way it has been in Cayman, the way it is to this day, there are no rules which force the Chief Justice to decide the matter within a certain number of days or how to deal with complaints. It's all in his unfettered discretion. And I just think that gentleman's case, which is a very, very sad case, I mean, when you consider especially the amount of money involved, I think this should help to sensitize people in Cayman about that. I will also say I read in detail the new provisions which will be coming in force in relation to complaints against lawyers. It is, again, still very much skewed in favor of lawyers. Like lawyers, in some cases, they cannot be charged costs, but you can be charged costs and so on and so forth. But that's a discussion for another time.
Right.
I just think that the government needs to look at this more, and more relevant to what is happening now. What I suggested to the Ombudsman, I said, look, I think you should ask the judiciary, as a matter of good administration, that they should publish every year how many complaints are received, how they were dealt with, and so that the public is aware.
Right.
In other countries, they do that. At the end of the year, they say there were so many complaints. They won't tell you who it was. This was the complaint, this was the nature of the complaint, and this is what has happened, because that allows for accountability as well. But let me end there. There's also a similar problem in relation to the judiciary, because the judiciary also doesn't have rules to complain against members of the judiciary. The Constitution says the Judicial Legal Service Commission should prepare rules to allow people to complain against judges. Those rules have never been prepared since 2016.
Okay.
So that's a broad area, so that needs to be dealt with.
I appreciate you listening and offering up your perspective from such a informed experience. One, can I ask two things, if I may?
Sure.
In relation to your FOI request or an FOI request, and one that does not seek to know the names of individuals, because perhaps that's more for fodder than for actual anything fulfilling. Would it have been helpful to say we had X number of complaints, and of that number, there were 5 against one, 10 against another, to break it down to see whether there were 45 complaints, all individual, or the 45 there was only 5 people involved, just for argument's sake, half of which was. Would something like that help from a statistical analysis to kind of paint a picture that maybe they're increasing complaints against one individual, or a growing number, a larger number, as opposed to making the whole profession look bad?
Yes, that would really be useful, because when I made the request, all I said was, how many complaints did you receive? What was the nature of those complaints? What was the result? And one other little detail I forget, like it was about 4 details I needed.
Right.
Yeah, but what you have raised is very important, because first of all, what is the basis why the public should know? First of all, they should know that this is an avenue open to them. That is one, and then that avenue must be effective in terms of there must be rules and it must work properly. But also, the public need to know whether there are certain problem people. That's why your question is very important. Like, I mean, if it is one firm which is receiving like 5 complaints per year, or one individual receiving a multiplicity of complaints, then that is something that you want to look at, because it means either that person must not be practicing at all, or at least it highlights and it makes the public know that person, if you go there at your own risk. But at a certain point, if that person has got too many complaints, then they must take the person off the market. But I just believe that in Cayman, there has been no real system to be able to deal with those issues. Let me give you an example. For example, in Ontario, if you go to the Law Society of Ontario website, they have there, if you file a complaint against a lawyer, it goes through a sifting mechanism. If it is something that can resolve quickly, or it is frivolous or something, then it is resolved quietly. But if you make a prima facie case, and they think that there should be a full inquiry, then when they reach that point, they actually put it on the website, and they say, a complaint has been filed, a prima facie case has been filed against ABC, so that you, as a member of the public, if you want to go to a lawyer, as you are doing your due diligence, you will go to the website and you will see that this lawyer is being inquired into. Now, they don't put you on the website if just any complaint is filed. No. Once they do a preliminary check and they feel that there's a real complaint which needs to be dealt with at a full hearing, only then do they put it on their website. But there is nothing like that in Cayman. And by the way, once they do that, even after you are exonerated, let us imagine it is resolved or you are exonerated, it remains on the website. It is part of your history. And to me, that allows a much greater accountability and therefore protection of the public. But what I must emphasize is that they only put it on the website once it has really reached the point where they feel that they should they should go to an inquiry. And usually that's only in about 5 or 10% of the cases that are complained about. In Cayman, there's nothing like that. You just go to a law firm. You don't have any place you can go to find out whether that person might be problematic. Also, another very quick comment for people who are listening, right? When a lawyer is selling property for you, a lot of times the lawyers will want the sale price, the check, to be written and paid to the lawyer. And a lot of lawyers want that because that way they can take out their fees and so on and so forth. But what sometimes a client can do is to tell the lawyer to say, look, this is the fee that I will owe you after this transaction is done. We will need 2 checks. One check, the buyer is going to prepare this amount for you. And then the actual check for the house, the price, the check should be in my name, and that should be written into the contract. It should be the name of the contract, the sale.
Yeah.
Like if this person had done that, it wasn't going to happen. But to be fair to him, normally lawyers don't do that. They want to get the money first, but that's one way you can protect yourself. Put it in the contract to say the purchase price will come to me, the fee will go directly to the lawyer.
Right. But I mean, we expect professionals and lawyers say they have an escrow account. So before you leave, there is a listener wanting your contact details if you wish to give it. So we got a call off air asking for you to share your details.
Okay, you can call me on my Cayman number, but I only receive numbers on WhatsApp. That's 928-2644. 928-2644, but that's on the WhatsApp only.
Okay. The second question we wanted to ask you, if you don't want to put you off what you just shared, right? Because that's good advice. The second question was in relation to what you shared. I want to repeat to make sure I understood it. In the Cayman context, as it is now, the complaint against a lawyer must go to the court, to the Chief Justice, right? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the process is in, say, Canada, the US, the UK, in other jurisdictions? Some of us are of the view that there is, and forgive me for using the wrong term, but a bar association, a law society, to whom that process of complaint would initially go to. What is it like in Canada or any other jurisdiction that you're familiar with?
Yes. More usually, the bar association or law society, regardless of what it is called,
right,
that's the one which is in charge of hearing complaints. They would normally have an act of parliament, and also under that act of parliament there will be rules which will be made, and usually that association will have a disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee will comprise leading practitioners.
Right.
But in recent years, there has been a move towards saying, look, lawyers can't always police themselves. Okay? What you need to do is you need to have members of the public, maybe an accountant and an architect, maybe also even just a member of the public who might not be in any profession, so that they can work together with the lawyers, because that way you will avoid lawyers just defending themselves. Because you see, remember the way these law of societies operate. You are a member of the law society, and you are a member of the disciplinary committee, but you won't be there forever. Okay, you yourself will be in private practice later on, and one person who you might discipline might be on the disciplinary committee, since it is an elective office. So that usually creates a situation where you find it is very rare that that disciplinary committees can be very tough on lawyers because these are their fellow lawyers. Remember, especially in a small jurisdiction, they would have gone to law school together, they appear in court together, maybe do cases together and so on. So there is this idea that there should be certain people who are not members of the profession who become part of that. You know, in England, they had an ombudsman for solicitors. I do not think that system exists anymore. But anyway, it might or might not, so I don't want to mislead
right,
you. But anyway, there was a situation there in England where they had an ombudsman for solicitors because what they said was, it is a problem getting lawyers to police themselves, okay? So they had an ombudsman who would look at complaints from the public, and one of the requirements for that ombudsman was that the ombudsman should not be a lawyer, past or present. There should be no connection. There should just be maybe an accountant, an administrator, and so on, because they felt that way it is much, much, much easier for them to be objective and to be able to deal with that. But in Cayman now, the system which is coming, there will be a disciplinary committee. As I remember it, most of the members of that committee will be legal practitioners. I forget who the other people will be, but at least now there will be more of a structure which looks more like the way it is done in other countries. But if I remember correctly, my criticism to the membership of that committee is that there was need to be more members of the public. Rather than just lawyers, because that also can be a problem.
Yeah. And we see as we go into a break, similar challenges with say police, and why there's always this, independent body to be able to ensure the objectivity, the impartialness, and the appearance, in this probity of something that is above board, right? So we don't paint everybody with the same brush. But to your point, doctors and hospitals and teachers similarly are given a report card. There are some jurisdictions that will evaluate, say, hospitals and publish its findings with a view of, transparency and accountability, so the public will know that, this hospital, for instance, has been reviewed and licensed, and there are no complaints of not just malpractice or unsanitary conditions or negligence. School teachers in schools, and so perhaps the law profession could benefit from the same thing. Is that what we're gathering?
Exactly. Accountability. In fact, that's why I've suggested that the reports which they make about complaints against judges and lawyers and so on should be part of the annual report, should be taken to the Legislative Assembly. And so that the Legislative Assembly, who are the ones who represent people out there, can comment on it and be able to see whether this system is working as it should. But so far the government hasn't taken it up, but that is what I have suggested.
All right. Well, sometimes, people just need to hear it at the right time. I thank you always for sharing a perspective, and I take it on board, one of not just professionalism, but impartialness with a view of, educating and informing. So thanks for persistently trying to get through, and I'm glad that you did.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Talk to you very soon. You do as well. All right, let's pause and take our break. When we come back, there's more open line here on Talk Today. Try our numbers, 949-8037, 949-6990. And try WhatsApp call in if you can, 925-3261. And if you can't get through on those numbers, call us and tell us you can't. 949-3261. Right, is the WhatsApp number? 925-3261. I don't know why I said. Did I say that? Who knows why I said? I said something else. Look at it again. Call us, share with us. Let's learn together. Stay tuned.
No, man. I'm tired of seeing a new charge on my phone bill every month.
You are always complaining about that bill. I think it's time you make that switch to Digicel.
I've been with my network for more than a decade. I don't know if I want to move over now.
Well, better later than never. When you switch to Digicel, you get better speeds, more data, and simply more value. Best of all, no dishonest practices. What they say is what you get. Make that switch today and get 50% off your first 2 months.
50% off my first 2 months? Mary, you're convincing me now. Okay, I'll visit a Digicel store near me.
Experience the bigger, better network. Switch your postpaid number to Digicel for 50% off your first 2 months, or get a free 30-day Prime bundle for prepaid customers. Make the switch today.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Stop kicking that old washer or dryer and stressing out. Brand Source Home Gallery is having an August laundry sale. Save up to 15% on all brands. That's right, save up to 15% on GE, Samsung, LG, Beko, Frigidaire, Electrolux, and even heavy-duty commercial washers and dryers, both gas and electric. Shop Brand Source Home Gallery in August and find the island's largest selection of washers and dryers and save during the August laundry sale. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
Cayman, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
RC Fusion, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Brought to you by Puritan Cleaners. Puritan Cleaners, now using the most popular eco-friendly cleaning solvent. Call 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
Remember to discard all fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, all foods in canisters, dented, leaking or rusting cans after they have come in contact with flood water. Also discard foods that are stored in cardboard boxes, paper foil, cellophane, and cloth, as well as those in open containers and packages.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. It is Open Line here as we take you through our Thoughtful Thursday and invite you to be a part of a discussion. 949-8037, 949-6990, or 925-3261 is our WhatsApp number. You can message, you can call. Share with us, what's on your mind. A couple of things we want to, bring up to our listeners. But first, a special thanks. Yesterday, we shared with you that we're looking at putting a panel discussion on the Constitution, on a number of things. That is as a result of a number of individuals asking us, hey, could you do that? We did have from time to time different people on, someone that I think we all love, admire, respect, and value. People like Mr. Steve McField, who brings in not just his legal expertise, but his experience serving in different capacities, but just his forthrightness, the passion that he brings, the knowledge of our history, and the sort of encouraging words to become informed and engaged in our politics and our civics without, I would say this with absolute certainty, without any ulterior motive in terms of anything that could be even remotely considered to be improper. He just wants us to be engaged. So we asked the listening public, hey, what do you think about this? Would you know of someone? Would you yourself be willing? We've got a number of responses thus far, and we'll see whether those individuals, a couple have already committed. Let's see where that takes us. So if you're interested in being on it, we'll probably say 3 people. We'll keep it, to a small number. It may be more than one discussion. And the idea is to talk about our Constitution, talk about our local politics, talk about, our electoral process, our voting systems. We know that the Electoral Boundaries Commission has submitted this report. Some of us have heard speculation about what may come of it. Some of us may have seen it firsthand in an official capacity or unofficially. We have had the members, including the chair, Dr. Hanley, again, Mr. Steve and Ms. Adrian. They've had public meetings. They completed their report. It's been submitted, and we'll see where it takes. It's for our Parliament now to take it on board, accept it, reject it, and do as the Parliament's authority is with it. Will it come into play if any changes are made before the next election? We're not going to speak to that process nor try to influence that. It's about getting involved and informed and engage in the process. Some of the things that we look at is, well, should the system be as it is? Should elections be a fixed, date every X years on this date? When should that date? Many of you would recall that our elections used to fall in the November of the even year, and that was the case prior. But how many know that that was not the case always? And up until 2004, it was expected that the elections would be in November. We had the passage of Hurricane Ivan. It was decided that they would postpone it until May 2005. What we understand to be reliably informed and to be the case is that that decision was only a one-off, that then the elections would return to November 2008, thereby extending the government of the day by 6 months' term and then reducing the subsequent government by 6 months. That did not transpire. We may or may not be accepted. Many have shared that, given the uniqueness of our economy has been so intricately intertwined with the U.S. economy, it was beneficial, and the decision of the day to have our elections so close to time to the U.S. presidential elections, that was beneficial to our economy, in that there is a time lag following the U.S. presidential elections while it's administration, whether it's the second term of the incumbent president or whether it's a new president, getting his bearings, sorting his cabinet and his policies and priorities. And then if ours is 6 months after, well, that's another 6 months. So 1 year out of what would have been an expected 4-year term. Maybe not as efficient and effective use of time. No, many of us are resilient and we are very adaptable and accommodating. So perhaps we should keep it the same. Maybe we should move it back. Discussions like that. Let's take this call. You're welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Company.
Oh, I always enjoy great company. So thank you for accepting the invitation and joining me. How are you?
Not too bad right here. Thankful.
Yeah, man. I always have to be. You always have to be, just not only grateful but gracious as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone coming at 2 o'clock.
Sorry, say again.
You have someone coming at 2 o'clock?
No, not today. No.
Open line all the way.
Open line all the way.
You ever noticed that some days the lines are so hot that you can't even press the button quick enough? And other days there's a long opening in between.
Yeah, and unfortunately today we've had a couple of people message and say, listen, they're having a challenge getting through. The caller earlier, the gentleman said the same thing. He was just persistent. We can't explain that. I don't wish we could. We can say with all sincerity that on our end we see no evidence of any receiving call. So it's not like we're ignoring it. It's just not registering on our end. And sometimes, unfortunately. So it is sometimes, but anyway, always glad to hear from you, especially, so please, we're going to listen intently to what you have to share.
Well, I had to make up some stories today, look like.
No, man, not at all, man. No. I think just in calling, as I listen to you, I'm looking at the message, just in calling, right, it sparks, I think, an opportunity for us to appreciate and not take for granted that which we have so readily available. Your kindness and your kind gesture of saying, hey, you need some company. We see in Cayman, and it's probably the case in many places where we don't have to walk, uphill backwards through the snow both ways to get to school and barefoot without, warm clothing. And so that convenience perhaps may cause some people to take their comfort for granted and to become too complacent, and as a consequence they are not.
I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because what's happening right now in Hawaii yesterday, the fire.
Yes.
Down there in Hawaii somewhere. Sterling and I sit down and think about us here in this island surrounded by water and how we are taking everything for granted and just going like, God ain't got us going. We're going on our own, And we just taking everything for granted. And I just want to say today that I think this will be an island, the people of this island, I don't care who they are, they need to start getting on their knees and thanking Almighty God every second of the day. Not because that we feel and we can see that we are extremely blessed, but let me tell you something. I hope nothing happens, but things do happen. And with this global warming going on right now, and the cost of living and survival, it is not looking good. And like I said, we need to get on our knees more than ever. Because if anything happens here, especially in an island spread fire, oh God, darling, it would not be a pretty picture. And by the time anybody come to save us, only God can save us.
I think there's a song, only God can save us now. Say a prayer for the world. And that's important for those who are prayerful.
Yes. And all those not prayerful, they need to start practicing the pray and just stop taking this little island for granted.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Just live better. Just be concerned about our neighbors. Just be concerned about each other. And just an open door and a good morning, a smile is so grateful when you can get that. When that doesn't come across to you at 7 o'clock in the morning to a door, that can really tackle and mess up your whole day if you are not a strong individual.
This is why I always, encourage people to share their perspective, why I'm grateful for you and many who are willing to speak, because it may cause others to look and not be so readily willing to take so much for granted, right? And it's maybe I'll share it after the break, but thank you. Know that your words have not fallen on deaf ears, all right?
I'm holding on.
You're gonna hold on, and we have another call after you as well, and we've got a break.
Yes.
But before we go into it, is there something else that you want to get into after the break? Is that what you're saying?
No, I want to hold on here until I can come back on again.
Okay.
I'm on the stand line.
Okay, all right. And then we take the other callers as well. All right. We're going to go into our news break, Miss Susan. To my brother, say, stop singing. Well, at least you recognize it as singing. Just kidding. It's a song from the heart, and as my friend sits at the desk, recognize that chocolate we share sometimes it isn't just, the spoonful. It's the heart that is certainly fulfilling. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. With cases of COVID-19 on the decline globally and the expiration of the last batch of Moderna vaccines on island, the Public Health Department will transition from administering COVID-19 vaccines monthly to offering it seasonally. In international news, a man who posted violent threats against President Joe Biden and other officials online was shot dead during an FBI raid on Wednesday. Agents were attempting to serve an arrest warrant on Craig Robertson at his home in Utah just hours ahead of a planned visit to the state by Mr. Biden. A criminal complaint said Robertson posted threats on Facebook against Mr. Biden and a prosecutor pursuing criminal charges against Donald Trump. The FBI declined to give more details. Scientists near Chicago say they may be getting closer to discovering the existence of a new force of nature. They have found more evidence that subatomic particles called muons are not behaving in the way predicted by the current theory of subatomic physics. Scientists believe that an unknown force could be acting on the muons. More data will be needed to confirm these results, but if they are verified, it could mark the beginning of a revolution in physics. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Honey, did you get your Benzorama ticket yet?
Benzorama what?
The Lions Club Benzorama fundraiser. You could win a brand new Mercedes-Benz.
What? I have always wanted a Mercedes. What kind of Benz?
A brand new sparkling 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200. Tickets are $25 for one, $3 for $65, or $5 for $100. And you're helping to support the many Lions Club of Grand Cayman causes.
Driving in my new Benz and feeling good about helping the community.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama Fundraiser. Your chance to win a 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200. Benzorama fundraiser tickets are available from Lions Club members and various sales outlets. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama Fundraiser supports numerous community initiatives, include site screening, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and got a few calls. Let's rejoin a wonderful lady who's so gracious. Hey, thank you, Mom, for hanging on.
Yes, Mrs. Sterling. There was just you're right there in talking about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know, COVID is practically going. They talked about in Cayman Islands that COVID is still out there. I was listening to the U.S. News the other day. They had like 12% of people coming into the hospital, but I know it's more than that out there. But a lot of people having it and not coming to the hospitals, you know, to get checked out or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what our plans are for COVID anymore, but I just heard her say there on the news breaks, you know. But we'll leave that at that and see what happens when election time comes. They're going to come up and say we need to get our fifth booster shot.
Mm-hmm.
Scare the heck out of us and so we can go and vote after we get the fifth shot.
Yeah, well, it's take on board what you shared, and it's obvious that we shouldn't ignore certain things, but I think without question the impact relative to the psychological and emotional stress on people, the concerns of their physical health, incidence of illnesses, and the recurrence of cancers in the last bit. So hopefully we'll be justified. But thank you for that, man. Anything else you want to share, Mom?
I want to hear on the population for a second.
Of course.
Our population is growing rapidly, and they're saying they want 100,000 people. So if we get the 100,000 people, and we the birth of newborns is happening every year, say 3-4 babies per year, and then we'll be over 100,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can they say, well, we've got 100,000 got to stop? Then we could have newborns coming along in that 100,000 that we so wanted. Let me tell you something, Sterling. From the way things look, we're going to go over 100,000. It'll be less than 5 years too, because the problem is so close to 70-something thousand or about 70,000 in the range right now. They do have no full accurate count to the island because a lot of people. don't even want to be counted when they got there with a sensor, or they don't be home, or there's some sort of excuse or whatever.
Right.
And I think we need to do better with the population that we're trying to get here and get a proper sensor rolling out here and demand people to give account of how many people are in the home.
Well.
But you still have some calls, so I'll let you go.
But thank you for always listening and when you have an opportunity for sharing. So thank you very much, okay?
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Well, thanks a lot. Calling to all who listen and who call, but let's take this out as well. Welcome, good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Yeah, and to you. How is it going today?
Oh, it's going good, boy. I have the crickets in my ear today. They're doing a really good job to remind me that I'm awake.
Yep. And making it positive, right?
Yes, sir, definitely. I here working on one little boat, in the middle of the bushes, and I was thinking of this heat, A little earlier this morning, I went to give my aunt a hand in her house, and we were inside the house and saying, it's so hot. We don't crack the windows open and get a little breeze inside, if there even any breeze left. And as she opened the windows, we was experiencing a little difference in the air, like the smell, the heat. Like as you open the window, the heat just rolls in. And think about the factor how they're saying about the climate change and stuff like this. I was looking into the construction that is going on next door. And hear me out now. I fully aware of the climate changes. That's an every year thing. I mean, if we surprised with that, if we wasn't paying attention. But the cement that they are mixing and the fuel that they're using to mix the cement and the equipment, the heavy equipment that is in the area, also contribute a lot to the quality of the air in the area.
Right.
And I was just thinking, like what a caller just now was talking about with the 100,000 population. In my area alone, where I'm living, there's a big building that's going up that is supposed to be a hotel or something like that in the ad showing it's a beachfront and it's in the middle of town. But let's just say that, give the benefit of the doubt that they'll be seeing the height that they're planning on building it. That will drastically change the climate around the area alone.
Yes.
Because now I believe in the climate change with deforestation and all those things, because the plants produce the oxygen and they consume the carbon dioxide. But if we do think about growing as a population on the island, that does cause a sacrifice that we would have to make as the air quality will deplete. Now, if you go to West Bay, if you're coming out from West Bay, and if you're looking above, past the Kimpton almost, if you're coming over the hill on the highway, and you look at the air quality, just visually looking at the air quality, and just imagine the residents that might be being affected by the air quality of the dust in the air. We know that cement is a chemical that also does burn your skin if you are in the area that
yes.
It's a chemical reaction that is in your skin, and the sun and the sweat messing with that could also cause health issues. Now, the use of the mask that I would assume that a lot of the construction workers are be using with their jobs, I'm hoping that they're taking advantage of that. If they're not, then they should be. I think that this is the reason why we are seeing a lot of spike in the health conditions of people. I'm just only thinking out of an experience that I've had, it could be more into it. But if they're talking about cooling the climate, cooling the air, cooling our global temperature, what does that do in effect to the salinity of the salt in the ocean when the ice stops melting? and doesn't contribute back into putting back fresh water into the seas, and that will also cause the bleaching of corals as well, not only just because of the temperature, but because of the chemistry in the ocean. But also I want to add in to the fact that humans contribute a lot to it as well. When we think about the use of the power grid, when the temperatures are rising and you have all the air conditioners running all day, and we're not moderating it because of certain areas of the island that is being constructed, it's not possible to open your windows up because of, like I go back to air quality, it's a man-made thing. Are we blaming the ecosystem for our actions? I'm just thinking, like.
But it helps, right? When as you think of something and then you're sharing your thoughts, it may cause others. As I'm listening to you, I'm looking at a message that someone has sent across, right? And I'm inclined to relay them to you and through you to the others, right? This person asks a couple of questions. One is, you reference air quality, and they were writing something similar. This asking if you were referring to the haze. Does the skies look a lot more hazy these days?
Yeah, and it's close to the ground. It's not even like the Sahara dust type of thing, because we've only been recently introduced to this Sahara dust because of studies being shown now that people have more time being on the computers, people have more time being on the satellites monitoring. Nobody wants to be outside anymore.
Yeah.
And it also does put a concern into how we are living, because we are only listening to what the government is telling us, but is it what they want us to know, or is it what we are supposed to know?
Yeah. Well, you and this individual seem to be, from what I read, that there was message on a similar wavelength, in that the person questioning development, but in that sort of pollution. What about the vehicles? Not just the construction vehicles, but just all the increased number of vehicles, but also the vehicles as they are driving. How properly maintained, how much exhaust are they, putting into the atmosphere. So, your thoughts spark people to think, and maybe through sharing publicly, maybe we start to appreciate. There's some other thoughts on development that I'll reference from this last message, but we're about to take the break. Any other thoughts you want to share before we do?
I guess I'll just keep listening in. I'm just only going to just put that out because it's just a little experience that I had this morning. And
yeah, man.
I think of it like as if, like, because this is an elderly person that we're talking about, and, the fumes that you could smell from the diesel fumes that you could smell from the construction site inside of her home. And it is really concerning when we look at her health. When I look at her health and saying that if she's exposed to this on a regular and she has to, endure it because there's little that she can do, something that is inevitable, that population growth will also put into the factor that you need to, house these people that are going to be living here.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking that, do we really need to get to that 100,000 if we are not there already?
Well, that's a good.
A concerning thing, in my opinion, because we've been living since Hurricane Ivan. Have we been rebuilt? And I just looking at how the island is just keep growing and growing and growing. Where is the stopping point? Where is it that we had enough? The mangroves are our last resources of land that we have left that they're about to take, and it's not even land. It's it should be part of the high water mark because the mangroves need an ample supply of water. A little drought can, kill a big forest.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, thank you for sharing that, all right?
Yes, sir.
And always good that people are thinking, and as they think, they give some consideration to their thoughts, they share it publicly, it inspires others. I'm really, really grateful that you have taken time to share. Hope we get through the little work on the boat that you're saying. And as we return from this break, well, we'll share with you what was shared with us, but maybe you won't share with us what was shared with you. Let's share. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Yo, big up Massive. Summer is here and Digicel got the vibes flowing straight to Jamaica. That's right, me people. Digicel has a sizzling offer for you. Top up for your loved ones in a Jamaica and you get a chance to win the ultimate trip to the land of sun, sea and good vibes. To enter for the free trip to Jamaica, just send top up to your loved ones back home with Digicel and you automatically qualify. Remember, the more top up you send, the higher the chance you win. So make sure you don't miss out on the fun. Me people, get the summer vibes flowing with a top up for your loved ones with Digicel and get ready for a trip of a lifetime.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat. A Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And as we were just looking, I wouldn't say that satellite photos, but maybe the images that we receive and those who are out and about, please be mindful. The roads are wet with the rain. Some of the raindrops look so big, I wonder if they hail. I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're size of golf balls or a football, but boy. So please, just in all seriousness, slow down, be careful on the roads, okay? Let's take this call. Welcome, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hey, how are you today?
Okay, man.
All right, man. Good. Is it raining where you are?
No. No, that's it.
Boy, it'll soon come, but...
Yeah, man, had a little drizzle earlier.
You did, yeah, and a little bit through the night, and so it's not too bad, right?
Yeah, man, God always on time, but you gotta stop cutting on all the trees because that what brings the clouds.
Yeah, we could really be a little bit more sensitive and sensible to what we're doing, right? But anyway, maybe we'll learn at some point before it's too late. Who knows?
Yeah, I just want to read something from King Solomon.
Uh-huh.
It says, efforts to establish a justice system that really works seem to have failed. Many fall victim to cruelty and oppression, finding themselves in a helpless situation. What makes things worse is that there are people in powerful positions who, instead of upholding justice, oppress their poor fellow men. Thank you very much, Dwayne.
Amen, man. Thank you for reading the word to us. Thanks again, all right? And we are, I think, increasingly cognizant that as the population grows, as our own people, start to, look and reflect, that we may become mindful that we're not as prayerful as our parents, or that they were as prayerful as their parents. And even those who subscribe to it, who pray diligently and publicly, may feel a sense of, scorn or rejection or ostracizing mentality from others. But it's important. So to that caller, if you still subscribe to it, thank you for your public declaration. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free if it's available to you. WhatsApp as well, 925-3261. Call or send us a message as you so choose. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Excellent. How about you?
I am blessed and highly favored beyond all measures.
Amen to that.
I have a great concern. I would like to know why our Royal Cayman Islands Police Services cannot adjust themselves to being proactive. I went down on the beach today to drop off some passengers, and the air was so thick with ganja scent, it was unbelievable. I have been asking the police to have police presence down by that public beach whenever cruise ship is in, because then all they do go down by that cruise ship and go to that beach and sell people weed from off of the cruise ship. It's not something that they just go in one time and do a raid. No, they catch them 4 or 5, and that's it. It dead right there. They don't go back. They don't continue. It is very sad.
What, just generally speaking, because what you've shared, we seem to have increasingly been hearing more and more that the use of it publicly, in public settings, from those on the beach to those at events to those who just maybe standing outside, the car parks, and it seemed to be commonplace, and people are not, too mindful to do anything about it from the perspective that it may be an acceptance. Do you think it's because people believe it's now legal, or so to speak, or is it that with all of the other things the police have to do to attend to, that isn't a significant priority, and there are other more serious things that are demand their time and attention?
I don't think that people believe it's legal, because then everybody in Cayman know it's illegal.
Okay.
You understand? We have a lot of lawless people in Cayman, and a lot of times the police allow things to escalate until it get out of hand.
Okay.
Right now, we are at a situation where it has escalated, and it's like, it can't be bothered. But at the same time, it is breaking our laws. At the same time, it needs their attention. You understand? Because if they don't nip something in the bud, do expect to try to get a handle of it after it's full of bloom. And that's exactly what's happening here now. You understand? They need to be proactive. We need some quality police officers who have the concerns of our laws at heart, not just for the money that they're receiving and not getting the work that they're hired to do done.
Okay.
I understand there's times that there's things that are more important or need more attention, but good God, I mean, don't just go down there, raid one day, and then 4, 5, 6 months down the line before they go back, when they know it's an issue of continuance, something that is continually happening down at the beach.
Okay. As I listen to you, I mean, you just reference some excellent points in your comment of this sort of growing lawlessness in our community. In the absence of a ever more present and perhaps stronger policing approach, which civil society may be mindful to carefully consider, do you think that us who live and work here, is there something that we can do, whether it's the legal use of a drug or the improper overuse and abuse, whether it's the littering in our streets and car parks and abandoned properties and sort of isolated places? There seems to be much that is happening in our communities that would negatively reflect on us as a law-abiding civil society. So is it us, the people that are here, that are making it?
The problem that I see, Sterling, is that locals are fed up. They're not going to report something because they know at the end of the day nothing will be done about it. Let's hit the derelict vehicles for an example. If DEH was to charge these people with the little laws that we have $215 to transport the vehicle from Crown property or anywhere but our communities and to the dump, enforce what the law says, $215 plus $500 for littering. If such of a event was to had happened, I think personally we wouldn't be in this situation we're in right now. It is lack of enforcing our laws. What happens? What is the problem that we're facing right now? If our laws were being enforced by those who are hired to enforce our laws, I don't think we would have this issue. You understand? Look at planning. Planning sits in their office. And it seems as if they wait for people to call in and say an illegal structure is going on here, or illegal structure is going out there. They have compliance officers, or they should have at least 5 to 6 compliance officers for Grand Cayman alone. To be out in our communities to make and check in of things. Because in a lot of time, the issue with vehicles parking in our streets is because people chop up their homes into apartments with no planning approval, and they're not going to park in space for their tenants. So therefore, their tenants tend to park on the street. So that is planning for, because if planning was to get out there and see these things being done, or even when they get the information that things of sort is happening, to deal with it. But all we get in response is, it has to go to CPA, and then they will determine whether to have them applied, and then they will know whether to approve or not. How you want to approve something that is becoming a problem, that has been becoming a problem? Is it all about the money that the government can make? Or is it about the safety of our people in these islands?
Yep.
Look at the issue with the garbage. Look at how many times it has been reported in that with photos or videos of people throwing garbage out of their vehicles. What have become of it? And we're hearing about it got charged up to this day. So those kind of things, those kind of slack things is why people are discouraged into coming forward and saying, I saw this one do this, or I saw that one did this, or present photos with written statement, say that I did this, I saw this, or I said that, because they know it is nothing going to be done about it. There's no charges is going to be done about it, which I am hoping and praying for the day to see when somebody get charged for littering. I was out in town just now, and I saw one. I don't know if he's a visitor or a work permit holder. He just flung his cigarette out of his window on the ground out in town. I said, sir, that's a $500 fine. Please do not come to our island and litter our island. You understand? Oh, I'm sorry, but at the same time, he refused to get out of his vehicle and pick it up.
So
you understand?
Yeah, is it then that there's a complacency? Perhaps there's a sense of lack of fear, in the sense of that laws won't be enforced, the punishment won't be significant. Is it a contempt that people have for the country? A disrespect and disregard? What do you think?
I just think that we need serious people who love Cayman Islands to be in these positions to say, well, if you do something wrong, we're going to hold you accountable. The problem I am seeing is that there are no accountability being held from people who are employed to bring these things to justice. It's just not. It's just no one to hold no one accountable. Until we start holding someone accountable, I think that's when we can say, yes, we have passed that stage. They know now, the word would get out that someone has been charged, that is not tolerated here on the island. Sometimes it's not tolerated. Therefore, we have to do what the law says.
And thank you. I think as I listen to you speaking to that concept, coin of the broken windows. If you ignore the small things, then they could become, bigger things. And when they're compounded, then it makes it perhaps more difficult to address then. So, as we close out the discussion, any final thoughts?
Yeah, another thing with planning. Another issue we're having with planning. If whenever we report something to planning, this is happening. Planning drags it out until the 5 years pass. Once the 5 year pass, they tell you, oh, they really can't do anything because in 5 years has passed. But I personally feel that if it was reported before the 5 years limit, no matter how much time has passed, they should have still deal with it, because in that planning negligence, why it wasn't dealt with when it was reported. So you see, that kind of thing tends to accumulate, and people get away with it. And because someone sees someone doing it, they feel that, oh, that one didn't get away with it, I can do it and get away with it as well. So is that done? We just need some accountability. We just need some accountability in the Cayman Islands. That's what we need. Someone who to hold responsible for these things that are happening, that are making it sad for our island and hard to live in our island.
Well, thank you for sharing this perspective. Right, talk to you again tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good afternoon. Well, for tomorrow, please join Mr. Art. Looking forward to come back and publicly thanking him for taking some time off and extending the courtesy for me to sit in the past few days. I enjoyed it. I trust that I did justice to his role. He's a phenomenal facilitator, and maybe one day he'll invite me to join him while he's here, as I will extend an invitation to him. So be a part of For the Record in the morning when you join Mr. Art. And come back for a talk today after midday news. Caribbean economist and advisor Ms. Marla Ducaron will be our guest. Incredible lady, an incredible intellect, very eloquent, with a strong academic as well as harness experience that can share with us from a perspective. Maybe it'll encourage us to think. There's an opportunity to learn as we listen and to engage and to contribute. And as we go into the weekend, hopefully tomorrow's show with Ms. Marla Ducaron will be such that you're so inspired that come Monday, your enthusiasm and energy, will be only, complemented by your industriousness to do things positively. So as we go into, each day, we're making it very constructive. Mr. Art's words, being mindful that we are indeed a brother's keeper, that we extend a helping hand, and that we bring people along, appreciating now more than ever the challenges people are facing with their health, with their financial sort of difficulties, with the growing challenges relative to socializing and the emotional well-being. We may actually have solutions to the problems. If we willing to acknowledge, we may find a way to address. But as some have shared, there are many of us who set about to find a problem for every solution. Let's see if we can find solutions instead. Join me tomorrow as we welcome Ms. Marla Ducaron, and looking forward to that conversation. Alrighty, it's raining outside. It's raining outside, but only if you are where it's raining. So if you're going through the rain, be mindful that the roads, like many things, are slippery and wet. Until tomorrow, have a blessed afternoon.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Here is where tradition never dies. This is your radio, Cayman.